So I woke up like a kid on Christmas, not because we're close to Christmas, but because a new episode of Bleach Thousand-Year Blood War just came out. And let me just say, I just finished watching it 2 seconds ago. I'm not even joking. I don't understand how a single anime, a single season can go back to back to back to back to back. It's been what, 12, 11 episodes straight? That's not even factoring the amazing episodes we got in Cour 2 and the amazing episodes we got in Cour 1. Bleach Thousand-Year Blood War is something special. It's been a long time since I witnessed an anime that episode after episode after episode consistently high 8s, low 9s, high 9s. In my opinions, some of these episodes are 10s, like let me say it, 10s. And the ball just keeps rolling into Thousand-Year Blood War episode 37, and I'm sure it's gonna stay rolling until Bleach is over. But Thousand-Year Blood War episode 37, what a beautiful episode, let me say that. I know that I say that about every episode of Thousand-Year Blood War that comes out, not only because number one, it's true, but number two, Thousand-Year Blood War has this innate ability to mix in some of the hypest fights that you've seen in the arc so far, alongside some of the saddest backstories in the same episode. But I know I'm getting sidetracked talking about Bleach propaganda. We're here to talk about episode 37. There's so many aspects to this episode. Number one, the fact that Lille Barro has not even been defeated. I thought that Lille Barro surely was defeated after Shunsui's Bankai. I love that episode. But no, Lille Barro is still alive, and he doubles down on the creepiness of his transformation, repeatedly claiming to be God's messenger, but has a god complex himself. It's funny how that works, very ironic. And Lille Barro, within the last 2 episodes that I've seen of him, has quickly gone up to be one of my favorite Sternritters, up there alongside Asnod. And that's because Bleach is so good, especially during Thousand-Year Blood War, because the pacing has been snappy. So good at fleshing out characters in a minute's notice. Quite literally some of the best development you've ever seen within the span of a 9-minute segment of an episode. It's amazing. And I think this episode illustrates this, not only with Nanao, who really is the main focal point of this episode, but with Shunsui as well. We really learn a whole lot about Shunsui in this episode that details his character down to the attire that he wears. We learn about his big brother. I wasn't aware of that. We learn about his connection to the Issei family, his connection to Nanao's mom, and we also learn about the promise that he made Nanao's mom, the connection he has to Nanao's Zanpakuto, the reason he's so protective over Nanao. All of that without mentioning, in my opinion, one of the hardest hitting scenes in this episode. Ukitake walking up to Shunsui and telling him Nanao's mom has been sentenced to death because she gave you the Zanpakuto. Even though it was her decision to give Shunsui the Zanpakuto, she did that conscientiously. Shunsui's gonna have to live with that, and he has been living with that throughout all of Bleach. From the very beginning, he's been living with that, and I didn't know it. There's an analogy that I want to say that I don't know if some people are gonna hear me out on, but some animes are fast food. You turn it on, you watch it, there's not much nuance to it. You either enjoy it, you don't, you move on. And some animes from top to bottom are just 5-star dishes, like AOT, like Bleach, etc. There's so much passion packed into every episode, and Bleach is no different. But we look back at the episode, Shunsui's pretty much on the back foot because Lille Barro went god mode. Nanao steps in and demands that Shunsui give her Zanpakuto. Nanao is a character that I didn't think was gonna get fleshed out in Bleach, but when Shunsui became the captain, I'm like, okay, wait, this is the captain's lieutenant now. We gotta give her something, and she got something, and it was worth it. So Nanao has known about this deal that Shunsui struck with her mom since the very beginning. We see her notice this as a child when she was training to be in the Keto Corps, but Shunsui moves her to his squad. So she's always been aware of this, but it wasn't until Shunsui's on the back foot, the world's on the line, that she decides to cash in the money in the bank and say, look, you gotta give me the Zanpakuto. And the history behind this Zanpakuto is wild. I don't know if I would call it broken. I don't know if I would say this Zanpakuto is like insane. It only works on like 1% of people at the end of the day, and that's like gods. To me, it seems more like a perfect counter. She had a good matchup into Lille Barro. But in this episode, I learned the true nature of her Zanpakuto, and it was great. The Issei family, a family of only women, and men that marry into the Issei family end up suffering a fate worse than Muken. And we see this firsthand with Shunsui's brother, who marries Nanao's mom and ends up dying due to the Issei curse, they believe. And it's after the death of Shunsui's brother that Nanao's mom goes to Shunsui and says, look, we gotta hide this Zanpakuto. So even though Shunsui is not of the Issei family curse has had a giant impact on him because it's led to the death of Nanao's mom, which he was close with. It led to the death of his big brother, and now it can potentially affect Nanao. So Shunsui, with as laid back and cool as he is, has dealt with a lot of hardships in his life that I wasn't aware of until just these last couple episodes of Thousand-Year Blood War. So props to Bleach and Kubo for further developing a character that I was already fond of. I already love Shunsui. But Nanao says something powerful along the lines of, my mom made the decision herself to keep me away from the Zanpakuto. Now this is my decision, and I'm requesting the Zanpakuto because we need to take Lille Barro out. Shunsui gives Nanao the sword, and now it's time for Nanao to fight off against Lille Barro. Shunsui describes her Zanpakuto by saying it has no blade, it has no edge. It takes the power of the gods, withstands it, and then deflects it in all directions. I'm like, what the, like, that is an amazing Zanpakuto. Again, Bleach showing off why it has some of the most creative and unique powers that I've seen in anime. Nanao explains the ability of her Zanpakuto, and I'm pretty sure for Lille Barro, it just went in one ear and out the other. I know he heard the explanation, but he was so caught up with himself, his ego was out the roof. Oh my god, he wouldn't shut up. And then we get the very important flashback of Nanao when she was a child, overhearing Shunsui getting the Zanpakuto from her mom. She didn't know that was Shunsui at the time, but she saw him walking away with her mom's kimonos with the hairpin down to the accessories that he's wearing. And then we overhear Soul Reaper say that Aizen is so hot, completely out of the blue. Was that in the manga or was that an anime exclusive line? Did Kubo add that specifically to let his viewers know, yeah, I cooked when I designed Aizen? But we learn more about Nanao. She was taken in by a couple that claimed to be from the Issei family after her mom died. She was also assigned in Asauchi but was unable to bond with it, made her way up to Soul Reaper Academy because she was so good at Kido, but was later reassigned to Shunsui squad. And that's how we ended up here. And that's how she realized Shunsui was the man who took the Zanpakuto from her mom. When I first saw Nanao versus, I believe, Chad versus Shunsui, little did I know that she would have such fleshed out backstory. The writing in Bleach has been great, and another thing I want to point out is that the female cast in specific in Bleach has been phenomenal. There's a lot of animes out there whose female cast is very generic, purposely annoying, tropey, or just flat out used for fan service. I love Fire Force, but you know, Tamaki. But Bleach has had Rukia, Yoruichi, Unohana, lately Nemu, Nanao. Oh my goodness, women in anime can be written a lot better than just meant to be having their boobs out. What? But Nanao cuts off Lille Barro's arm. Lille Barro starts saying, oh, you should have killed me with that first strike. You won't get a second chance to attack God's messenger. Shut up. He doesn't shut up. He starts charging up the doomsday attack. It's over. Starts charging up a nuke. Nanao is visibly and obviously scared, rightfully so. This is her first time wielding her Zanpakuto, first time in battle against a real deal opponent. This is an endgame villain. But Shunsui shows up out of the shadow to give Nanao a hand, and we get one of the best lines in this episode. She came back intending to help Shunsui, but it turns out that she's the one that's being supported. The OST is kicking just like every other episode in Bleach ever. Just like Bleach in general, the OST is always a banger. And we see the Lille Barro trumpet, the sound design, majestic. Oh my god, quite literally perfect. And she deflected the trumpet back at Lille Barro, and Lille Barro dies. Hopefully he's actually dead this time. But guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go on IMDb right now and I'm gonna rate this episode a 10 out of 10 because that's what it deserves. And all of Thousand-Year Blood War has been just as good as this episode. I can't believe that we're nearing the end of Cour 3. I'm assuming that Cour 3 is gonna follow the trends of the previous two Cours and be 13 episodes as well. So we got 2 more episodes of Thousand-Year Blood War before we go back on break. Now, I don't follow leaks, I don't read the manga, so I don't know what these next 2 episodes are gonna be, but I'm excited. I just can't believe that Thousand-Year Blood War and Bleach in general is this good. Episode 37, 10 stars. Go rate it on IMDb now. See y'all later. Thank y'all for watching.